you will find that there are a few women that are taking it a bit too far when it comes to the idea of feminism. What? Sorry. That is absolute. Like, there are people who insist that, especially in our context here in Kenya, that if you have a male best friend and you're a girl, that eventually, we say bestie chubui, like that's what we say.
God is not a man. The patriarchy made him so.
You can't say it's Christian. I mean, Jacob worked for 14 years for a wife, yo. He worked for a wife.
When men cheat or have side chicks, it's less personal than when women do it.
Okay, first of all, hi guys, my name is Jaleen Waithera. I am a writer, an actress, and a media professional. I'm a Kenyan, whoop whoop, first and foremost. And I am a Gen Z woman living in these trying times that we're all living in. And that's why I'm so excited about today's topic, because we get to discuss some very controversial things, but it's all good because I'm also a very big conversationalist, and I believe that when we sit down and talk some of these issues, it takes away from the gravity or the strain or the taboo of it all. Yeah, so tune in. We're talking about women and girls today. So yeah, let's get you up.
Modern feminism is more about dominance than equality.
This one, okay, first of all, you like literally threw me in the deep end with the first question. This one is a big no. That is a lie. And the person who's trying to sell that modern feminism is about dominance is someone who is scared of the shift that is going to occur, that is going to disrupt some things that men have held traditionally. In what sense? What I mean is, let's talk about it in terms of figures. Right now, the number of men and women in the world is almost the same. 49 point something percent, 50 point something percent for women and men, which is relatively equal. But you find that women are paid less, and women have less opportunities. Women have less opportunities for professional advancement. Women have less opportunities when it comes to education, and all these factors considered. But for women to actually be given an equal right, or for feminism to actually be embraced in society, someone has to give, Let me give you an example. In Kenya, women are paid 32% less than men. Now, for women to gain equality, these women have to be paid equally as their male counterparts. This money has to come from somewhere. So someone is refusing to pay this money because now it will cause a shift because someone was comfortable with the way things were. So the person selling the narrative that feminism is about dominance is someone that does not want to accommodate the proponents of equality, and thus they'd rather call it dominance so that they can keep the status quo as is because it benefits them. The other thing I'll also say is that there are extremists in every school of thought. In every theory, in Christianity, there are extremists. In Islam, there are extremists. In every school of thought, there are extremists. So you will find that there are a few women that are taking it a bit too far when it comes to the idea of feminism, but it cannot be used to downplay what feminism is and its importance in our society today.
Gender roles are outdated and need to be redefined for modern relationships.
This one was, oh my God. Let's first agree with the first part of the statement, that traditional gender roles they cannot be the same in today's modern world. Things are changing, so even our definitions of gender roles have to change. But I think we have come to a place in society where there's never going to be okay, in my opinion, there's never going to be like a defined set of gender roles as things are right now. Because you have people who are in gay relationships, you have people who have decided to live the single way, so they're single parents. You have people who have been forced to be single parents, maybe by a husband or a spouse dying. So this person, you wouldn't pick up some roles like being a home, like a man being a caregiver for their children and being a homemaker and being a domestic worker, or trying to balance that out, because that's not traditional manly roles or masculine roles. So in society right now, I feel like, yes, we have to rethink what we knew before, but we also have to be very open-minded to embrace the fact that it's not always going to be defined as the way we have understood it to be. Yeah, so I think that's my opinion. I don't think we'll ever get to a place where it's clear cut, like this is for men, this is for women. Right now, it's what you decide to do. Yeah.
Men and women can't be friends.
What? Sorry. That is absolute. Men and women can't be friends. No, that is absolutely. And I can say that because I have had a best friend for over 10 years who is a guy. And yeah, that's just, where does that even come from? That is just like a very uninformed way of looking at relationships, because I feel like there are people who insist that, especially in our context here in Kenya, that if you have a male best friend and you're a girl, that eventually, we say bestie chubui, like that's what we say. But in actual sense, no, there's a way you can carry your relationships and define them so well, such that a friend remains a friend. And in case you get into a relationship, because that has also happened to me, and you're in a relationship but you have a male best friend, it is my responsibility to make sure that my significant other does not see my best friend as a threat. Okay? So I feel like, yeah, there's a way you can navigate this, but we need to stop being... This close-mindedness is just ridiculous. Men and women can definitely be friends. Yeah.
A broke man is as good as a broke hand.
That's just so... But context, guys. Context. Let me argue this point by saying this. What do you define as a broke man? Because anyone can be broke. Even millionaires are broke. Like, there are times when they're not liquid. So I feel like when we say broke man, if I take it in the layman's context, like, it's someone who does not have money. But not having money is not an issue. The issue is the inability or the lack of capability to get the money, right? So as a broke person or as a broke man, there's nothing wrong with you if you don't have money. But if you're not working at it, if you have no goals, if you have no vision, if you have no ambition, then that's a problem. Because there are those relationships where you find that, I even had it on the radio the other day. There's this Chile, she was saying she has a husband, she takes care of the husband, of the household things, she even pays school fees, and the husband has no job. The husband's job is to keep her, is a warden, follows her everywhere, make sure she gets to work, he doesn't even allow her to have visitors and all these things. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a broke man and he's not going anywhere. So yeah, that's a broken hand. Like, I can equate that to a broken hand. Like, you're just useless. But a man who is broke, has ambition, has goals, has a vision, and is actively working to get money, that's a man you respect and that's a man you support. Because tomorrow, it's just going to be whipping, kikusplashia maji kwa barabara juli mkata. Anyway, sorry. Moving on.
If abortion is legal, a man should have the right to legally opt out of fatherhood.
The person who came up with that statement. Hey, your ancestors have marked you. what has abortion got to do with, like, this are two, you cannot put these two things together. Like, you cannot. When you're talking about fatherhood, the baby is there. Like, it's a baby. Like, the baby is born. So you're literally abandoning your duties. That's what you're trying to equate to abortion. And abortion is, okay, in our context in Kenya, it's illegal, but things happen. Like, in situations of rape, you can abort. In situations of incest, you can abort. So in situations where the mother is at risk, you can abort. So I'm trying to see where the correlation between abortion and fatherhood is. Like, for me, you cannot reconcile those two things. The fact that abortion is okay and women are being given the choice to have children does not equate to a man being allowed to abandon children when they are there. Like, aborting a fetus is not abandoning a child. The child is there, it's alive. So there's no way you can reconcile those two for me. I feel like those are two very different things. And for like, y'all are already doing it. Y'all men are already doing it. Like, me, I was raised by a single parent. So guy stepped. So y'all guys are already doing it. I don't understand why you need some law to make it okay. Anyway, no shade. But come on. Anyway.
If a man makes less than his woman, he should take her last name.
Oi. Oof. Who came up with that? Like, who came up with that statement? Okay, again, to the person, this specifically to the person who came up with that statement. We are in the 21st century. And I'm sure it's a man. We are in the 21st century, sir. Okay? So right now, this thing called choice. Names have nothing to do with who is making more money or who is not making more money. That's just some bullshit. You have the choice you have the freedom to choose right now. If I create a brand, Waithera Jal, if I get married and I want to retain that because it's my brand name, my husband doesn't have to force me to get his name. I'll be like, no, I don't want to. I don't think it's a make or break at I want to marry you if you don't take my name. You can go, honey. That's the door. Like, that's such a small thing to base off of our entire relationship on you have to take my name. It does not matter who's making more money. It has nothing to do with that. Right now, people are getting married and they're not even changing their names. Like, so now, remember the issue is Martha Wangari Maathai. I'm not like calling her out or anything, but Wangari Maathai took her husband's name. And when the divorce happened, my mom keeps telling me this story, I don't know why, but when the divorce happened, the husband was like, you need to stop using my name. But she was already Wangari Maathai in everything. Everyone knew her like that. So what did she do? She added an A to her name. So it became Maathai. And then she was like, and that's on standing on business. That was a good one. I'll add a letter. Now tell me, is it your name? It's not your name. So I don't think that's just stupid. Like, you take your name, you don't take a name, that's on you.
The normalization of dowry contributes to seeing women as property rather than equal partners.
Yes. Yes. Big yes. Unfortunate, sad, regrettably, but yes. Dowry ceremonies or the ritual of doing dowries has been equated and has made people assume that it's an exchange of property for property. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm looking at you because I know some of y'all have done that. You guys are equating the payment of dowry because I have given money. I have given mera for my Meru brothers. I have given fish for my money. Let me call money for my Luo brothers. I've given cows for my Maasai men. So now I've given all that for me to be given property. This wife is now mine. She is now a piece, like a collection I can put on a wall, take down if I want. That's, utakufa vibaya. If that's your mentality, utakufa vibaya, baby. Because let us not diminish the role that dowry played in traditional African society. We're here in Kenya. Dowry was not an exchange of property for property. No. Dowry was meant to show that this person was able to take care of the new wife. It was also a ceremony where in-laws came together and like gelled into one family. It has very sacred significance within the African setting. So it's actually after... It's I don't even know where this conception that it's payment for a woman, like I'm buying a woman, came from, because it's not even Christian. You can't say it's Christian. I mean, Jacob worked for 14 years for a wife, yo. He worked for a wife. Rebecca was alitumwa. Someone went for her. And Abraham gave things. Go take this to that family. We need, it was sacred. It has always been sacred. So the modern man is trying to equate it at a payment, so that if you come to my house, I command you. I am your Lord and Savior when I'm in that house because I paid dowry. You will die. You will, this day and age, the mentality is not like that. And those wives are gone. I'm sorry to say. Those people are gone. But now because you did pay dowry, we will return. Sorry.
God is not a man. The patriarchy made him so.
This point. Now, I will dismantle the point by saying, first, God is not a man. That is completely true. God is depending on the context of who your God is or what you believe, but God is both neither man nor woman, or both man and woman. Okay, so he cannot be put in a box. You cannot really put God in a box in the context that we understand God. You can't put him in a box in terms of even gender, right? So what I think the patriarchy is coming from is not that religion. No, it's not that the patriarchy is making God a man. It's that religion is based off of the society on which that religion is born. And the societies in which, unfortunately, our religions were born, most of them were very patriarchal. Patriarchal? I can never say that word. Anyway, it was very male-dominated, right? So you find Christianity, which is born around Jewish society. Jewish society was patriarchal. Patriarchal. Aki, if I'm saying that word wrong, please forgive me. But yeah, it was very male-dominated. So I feel like it's not that patriarchy is making God a man. It's just that our religions are based off of patriarchal societies. And so in turn, people tend to masculize God, which is so wrong. God cannot fit in a box. Religion is what is propagating, what's it called? The patriarchy. And those two things are very separate, in my opinion. Yeah.
Women are born with their value. Men have to create it.
I had a problem with this statement. And here is why. Women are born with their value, but men have to create it. Now, when I saw this statement, the first thing I thought about is, what are we equating as value? Because if we say women are born with value, what value does this woman have? The ability to bear children, the ability to make a home, the ability to be a good wife. This is what we consider value, the value that a woman is born with. But a man is meant to grow up, be industrious, create something, earn wealth, and bring glory to the family name, or like lineage, and extend the lineage. But that's not what is happening right now in the world. People have started to realize that the value of a man, like the value of a woman, can also be created. Like, in as much as this woman is a child bearer, and that's the value that she has, we have the opportunity to go to school, earn wealth, stabilize our own families, become the ones to bear the legacy, inherit the property. So I feel like it's very unfair to say that women are born with the value when men have to create it. I feel like it really puts like society in where it places both genders. Like men are the ones who are supposed to work and become industrious and create, but women are supposed to be the childbearers and nini. It defines it. That's what it's trying to do. But in actual sense, what society is right now is that both these people, if empowered in the same way, can be able to create their own value. Because even you can't say men are not born without value. Like in Kikuyu tradition, we ululate 5 times for a man, 4 times for a girl. But it's not the fifth ululation is like it's called orome. It's like masculinity. So there's no like there's nothing to equate it when it comes to a woman. We don't pray for femininity for a woman, but I'm just saying that because I don't want to judge the ululations or anything, but I'm just saying that men are already born with their value. Even in China, when they had the one-child policy, most of the girls, they were doing some things to the girls, but the boys, people were like, we'd rather have a boy because a boy, will be industrious, will take care of the family, will do all these things. So it's not a true statement. Both genders are born with value, and both genders are able to be empowered and create their own value. So that's what I think about that statement. Next, please.
Financial disempowerment traps women in cycles of oppression and gender-based violence.
Yes. Unfortunately, regrettably, yes. And I thought we were having a GBV issue in Kenya alone, but it seems to be there is a GBV issue across the globe. And I feel like it has a lot to do with the fact that we are currently in a recession, because everything boils down to money. Now, in a traditional sense, where you have a wife is a stay-at-home mom, does not necessarily have her own income and everything, you'll find that when the situation gets bad, or when the husband becomes toxic or abusive, or I'm using that context because we're talking about women in this case. But if the husband turns on the woman during this particular time, she is not able, or like she's not able financially to leave this situation, because she has to think about what is she going to eat, how is she going to make money, how is she going to live, how are her children going to survive. So there's a lot of things she has to think about and consider. And because she does not have that financial independence, it becomes very difficult for her to leave this situation. So then she endures the violence because she has no other support system outside there, because she's still dependent on this man. But what we're getting to learn about society right now is that it does not matter what kind of situation you're in. Even as a housewife, fine, be a housewife. But when the children are in school, they're in school for like 6 hours. The least amount of time is 6 hours. What are you doing in the house for 6 hours? Just sitting. No. This is a call for every woman. You need to have something that's going on. Even if you're a housewife, dedicated mother, fine, that is good for you. There's nothing wrong with that. But have that small business. Have that small something. Have that, because what you can be, umse ukufa. Men die. Men. I mean, I'm not saying your husband will die, but men die. So if that person dies, what will you be left with? How will you survive? You have to take your children from private school, take them to another school, and it's just, it becomes very disorienting. So I feel like we really need to find something. Go to marriage, yes. Be a housewife, yes. But have something. Have some little form of income. Acha kushinda ukitisha pesa za pads. Why are you asking money for pads from your husband? Buy them yourself. Yeah. I don't know.
When men cheat or have side chicks, it's less personal than when women do it.
Okay, first of all, I feel like it's not that it's personal. I feel like it's kind of accepted and expected of men, right? This is Africa. This is Kenya. Men, it's a man's world through and through. Like, it's not even a discussion. So you find that normally what happens is men are the ones who have families outside, or it is kind of expected that A man has a wife at home, but can have a series of other relationships. So society has made it very acceptable for it to happen with men. But when it comes to women, oh my God, Jesus, may you not, because you are a Jezebel, may you not be caught. May you not, even the thought of you trying to befriend someone else or having male friends and you are married or something like it becomes like such a taboo. And I feel like it's so unfair. Either way, it's a problem. Either way, it's a problem. So this is basically in relationships where you have agreed one man, one woman, because there are those that, hey, thruples, or other kinds of relationships that we are having nowadays. But in the conventional sense of man and woman, I don't think it's personal. I think men are okay because they've been allowed to do it. So when a chick cheats on a guy, it becomes, hey, you guys can be petty. Kuchitiwa too. But I feel like society has made it like that. So it's not really, and it needs to change. Either way, it's still cheating. Either way, you're still hurting the other person. So, hakuna yenye ni personal kuliko hiyo ingine. They are both wrong. Stop doing it.
Men pick and choose when to be traditional and don't meet the standards that they set.
I had a problem with this one because I was trying to kind of find like perfect examples for this. But I will say, yes, to some extent, yes. Men do tend to be traditional and like to some extent. So you're trying to say, hiya, you're married, but again, tradition varies. Depends on what it is you believe. But you're married, you're a husband, you have a wife, and you want your wife to stay at home, make a family, do all these good things, raise your children, amazing, take care of the house. Good. Traditional values. But then you want to go out to the club, you want to hang out with Jairi from the club, you want to hang out with Osidri, Nani, you're just out there with everyone else apart from your wife. But when you go home and your wife asks you, I want to go for a girl's trip, or she wants to go for a night out, that's when you put your foot down. That's when you are the man of the house. Your woman is going nowhere. But where were you outside? Perambulating with Kelly and Joanne. Yeah, men do that. Kenyan men do that. You tend to pick when to be traditional, and then you tend to ignore the responsibilities that come with this, what we call traditional values. So yeah, that's very true. And some of y'all don't live up to those standards. Back then, you could have 5 wives, but all 5 wives, if one was given 2 calves to start with, all the others were given 2 calves to start with. In Kenya, you have a man who we all saw this week, a man who is keeping his wife, one of his wives, in Ushago with a kabambe phone, while the other wife is living somewhere in Nairobi, driving a Harrier with an iPhone. That is one husband, 2 wives. May you not be the one in Ushago. That's all I have to say. May you as a woman not be the one in Ushago. Because what are those? So you are trying to be traditional. You're trying to be polygamous, but you cannot afford all wives. You cannot afford the equality. Come to Masai Land, I'll show you. Men who have, the Manyata is here. All the other 3 houses for the 3 wives are identical. Identical. They look the same way because this man has been able to balance everything out. So you're setting standards, saying you want to be traditionalist, but can't live up. You can't talk. You can't walk walk your talk. Sorry. Yeah. So that's a fact. I'll get stoned for this. Please do not come for me.
The resistance to the gender violence-based protests last year shows the state of misogyny Kenya is in.
I will say, last year we had 2 GBV marches. The first one was really, really successful. The one that happened the first. Okay, I wouldn't say it was successful, but it was really, really nice because we went to the street and we made our voices heard, and there were no disruptions, no anything. People showed out, men showed out, loved it. It was great. The second one was met with resistance. I tend to think it was very politically motivated, that in the sense that they didn't necessarily come to stop the protest because it was a protest against GBV. They came because there's a situation in the country that is very, very politically heated, and someone is being scared of people gathering. Yes, someone is having sleepless nights because people are gathering. I think that was the issue with the resistance with the GBV. But that does not take away from the fact that, yes, we are very misogynistic as technical difficulties. We're very misogynistic as a society. So you find that even when you go to a basic reporting of a GBV case or basic reporting of a domestic violence case, countless of women have reported saying they go to the cops. When they go to the cops, you go say your husband bet you, or you were fighting with your husband. The cops look at you like you've just, like, why are you here? Like, that is not a complaint. Most of these cases are not taken seriously because men believe that, or especially in rural settings, they believe that a man is supposed to actually beat a woman. And this is something that is actually believed. Like, there's actually a YouTube, someone did this and asked men, do you believe that you should beat your wife? And men came and they said yes. And this was in Kenya. I'm not lying. This is Kenya. So our society, yes, is very misogynistic. It even comes from the way you raise your children. The way I was raised, that I had a curfew. I could not go outside. I could not even, go out for party. In high school, oh my God, no. You are a minor. You stay in the house. Your business is books and that TV. And occasionally dishes and all those things. But you find my male cousins, them they could go. Them they were going for sijui jam sessions. They could go for events. They could go for what? Hawangepigwa if they came home late. So, I mean, yeah, it's misogyny everywhere. So that is very factual. Not in the sense of the GBV protest. That one was political. But yes, our society is still very misogynistic. When your president stands in front of a mass of people and asks a man why he's complaining about healthcare, and particularly maternity healthcare, and he's not the one giving birth, there's a problem with that society. That was very, I won't say the word, but you know it.
Feminism helps men.
Yeah, it does. Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Feminism helps men. How does feminism help men? I'm thinking. I feel like it's a form of equal footing. It's a form of equal opportunity. When you educate a girl and you educate equally a boy, then it means that you have embraced feminism and you treat them equal and you give them equal opportunities. It means that they both have what it takes to be industrious and create something new in society. Whether it's creating new jobs, whether it's reaching new heights, whether it's making new exploits. There are so many things in the history of the world that would have not been possible if women were not involved. It is there. We complement each other. We are in it with just the two of us. It's only us, like men and women. It's only us in this world. Not minding the bigger debate. It's only us in this world. So we complement each other. And that's to say that if we embrace feminism, it means that we have double the number of doctors. We have double the number of experience. We have double the number of working opportunities. We have double everything. It's just going to be better. It doesn't mean that it's taking away from you as a man. No, it just means that we're creating even more for all of us. So it shouldn't be a threat, because even young guys will have a better time when you don't have to work to provide for a family of 5. You can be 2 of you working together to provide for a family of 5. And that means that there's just more money. Like, I don't understand why you would be against that. Like, it's just impossible. Yeah.
And do you have any closing statements?
Yeah, I will say this. I will say that change is inevitable. It is already occurring. The days where you're going to put women in their place or have a discussion without having women involved, those days are gone. We are reverting back to, and I'm saying this very, very boldly, we are reverting back to the systems where women were consulted in everything, where women could go to war, which actually traditionally people think that didn't happen. People always assume that women were subjugated. No. In some African traditions, women led. Women were warriors. Women could fight. Women, on top of everything else, women were economic, founders of economic activities. They made the money. They did the building. They did the housework. They did everything. That's the society that we're going back to. That's what society is today. So if you're there and you still have traditionalist ideals, let me call them that, but they're not really traditionalist ideals. They're ideals that are coming from some faction of Western, they were brought here by the colonialists. They're the ones who brought these ideals. So if you're still holding on to those ones, you need to change. Because you'll grow up, whether you're a man, you'll have daughters. Your daughters need to see what kind of man they need to end up with. And it's you who'll be the example. If you're a woman, your daughters need to see you working, you earning, you doing something, not you being silent when you're being hit left, right, and center or being abused left, right, and center. That's not something we want to teach the people who are growing up right now. We want to bring up people that are empowered equally and have equal opportunities to make something of themselves. So yeah, open your mind. And for God's sakes, stop looking at it like it's a threat. Feminism is not a threat. It's actually basic decency. Yeah.